and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 286 for the week of November 22nd, 2016, apparently. I almost said 15.
No, we want it to be 20.
I wish it was 2015. My name is Ryan Higgins, who's here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
Bryce.
Hello.
Toby.
And Charlie.
Toby, stop looking up Green Lantern hardcovers on eBay.
It's important stuff.
He's looking up Green Lantern Yowie pictures.
Whoa.
Yowie? That's right?
Yowie?
Yeah.
Sure.
I was making sure that my sick burn was well documented.
Lots of sick burns here. Hey, Charlie. Last week you talked about your wonderful toys, but you actually brought in your Batwing this week.
Yes, I did.
That thing's pretty amazing.
It's a euphemism, folks.
Yes.
It is large enough
It's huge
that
black Batwing.
I could not put it in the passenger side front seat of my car. It had to go into the back seat of my car because I could not close the door with it in the passenger front seat.
I believe it.
Did you actually safety belt it in?
No.
Oh, just check.
So the thing I like most about it, and I mentioned this to you before we recorded, it's not just that it's all lit up inside. It's that every little dial or knob is a different color. That's an attention to detail. Not that they're like all different colors, like it looks so weird like Christmas tree, but it's like they are not like it's all one color just with a light shining through the back of it, right? They're all individually colored.
Well,
that's a good attention to detail.
What I really like about it is when all the lights are on, you can kind of see the figures lit up inside the canopy there.
Yeah.
Because like without the lights, you can't see anything. You don't know if there's a figure in there or not. Right. But when the lights are on, like it all just kind of bleeds through very nicely.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens with the lights on.
Yeah.
It's a cool looking figure. We get a bunch of questions. We're going to get to those. We don't have too much news to talk about this week, but a couple of things.
You were searching.
Yeah, I mean,
you were on a mobile website that you wanted to kill.
End of the year, not a bunch of news. We did talk last week about the Inhumans. Oh, Bryce?
I have an idea.
What's up?
Hey, so since it's our Thanksgiving episode, why don't we have a table of conspiratorial conspiracy thanks where we all go around and say one thing that we're thankful for this year?
Okay. Do you want to do that right now?
Well, it just came to me just now, so that seems like as good a time as any.
Okay. Well, one comic thing?
Higgins, I just came up with it. So whatever you want, the Thanksgiving Day tradition starts this year on this episode. What is one
Thanksgiving
thing?
In a couple days.
Okay, I'm going to give you some rules. It has to be from this year. It has to, if your name rhymes with Biggins, it has to crap on Marvel in some capacity.
What?
Okay, maybe not. Okay, it has to be from this year. It has to be comic related, and it has to be something that you're thankful for. One thing sarcastically and one thing non-sarcastically.
Oh, Christ. All right. I'm real thankful that Gwenpool is crossing over into all these other titles and joining the champions.
That's the serious one.
I'm real grateful for that sales bump that I'm sure will happen then.
Okay, what's the real one?
Well, the real one, No,
don't give us some dig tug bullshit about how you're thankful for all the customers or whatever.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
No, that's every year, and we all know that you love us. So
it's the only thing I can.
He doesn't love us. He loves the money.
True, he doesn't love me, that's for sure. Not as much as Toby. So anyway, no, but what's something that we wouldn't expect you to say? Of course, we all know that you love us and that you appreciate us, or them at least.
You're thankful for young animals.
Well, so sure, that could be something. That could be Brock's. That could be yours. So don't give Higgins an idea. Something that we wouldn't expect you to say.
Oh man, I don't know. You really put me on the spot here. I
think that was the point.
Yeah, I guess
it definitely was the point.
It gives you all time to come up with answers.
Or to lose.
Or to keep playing Hearthstone against Brock. What the fuck? Come on, stop playing.
We're finished.
Oh, okay,
we're done.
Sure. I don't know.
We'll come back to you, Toby. You first.
What? No. I'll take this. Here, Bryce, here was an answer going off the one I just said. I was making fun of Gwenpool. I actually am really thankful for the comic industry for at least trying to reach out to new readers and broaden the reader base and get new fans and bring people who may have only seen the movies in to read the comics. I don't think they're maybe succeeding very well, but I am.
Sugarcoat it.
I am. No, it's true, but I am very thankful for the attempt because God knows they could just completely ignore everything. We've talked about this at length in the past. I feel a more balanced nature is needed, especially from Marvel. But there are definitely people coming into comic stores now because of Marvel that would never have stepped in the store 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I really think there is still some work that needs to get done. I feel like they've sort of, gone left one audience out and one for a different audience, but they are trying. And DC and the independent companies always have been doing this as well. So, but Marvel is really doing a big outreach. So, I do appreciate that.
That's a very good answer, Mr. Higgins.
Thank you,
Mr. Sager.
What am I thankful for? Comic book related. I'm thankful that Big
Two
Bang.
jobs?
Yeah, that's true. I'm thankful Big Bang comics took Ryan for about a week. That was nice.
It took me for a week.
Oh, it's a couple days.
I was only there for a couple days.
Do you want to give any more color to the 99.9% that don't know what you're talking about? Or no?
When I was on my honeymoon,
When he was on his honeymoon.
they, I guess for some reason, Brock likes the fact that they hung out with me.
They hung out with him
Allowed me to hang out with them.
because we got drunk Higgins on a podcast.
Was that your sarcastic
I was
thing,
exhausted. I wasn't drunk. I was exhausted.
You had something to drink.
Well, sure, but I was exhausted mostly.
What else am I thankful for?
No, do you want to do a sarcastic one or no? You only get one of each. Or you can pass.
Well, which one was that?
You tell us, man.
Sarcastic.
Great radio, Brock.
Yeah, great radio. Whatever. Leave me alone.
What is Toby doing?
I have no idea what he's doing.
He's setting up our Periscope.
Oh.
Are you going to go or not?
Pass.
Oh,
What are you
God.
thankful for?
So, let's see here.
Bryce, what Marvel books are you sarcastically
I'm looking
willing
at the wall.
and actually grateful for?
I am thankful that Bendis has taken, even though you can't really tell, such a back seat in the current Marvel ecosystem. I guess that's my sarcastic one because he hasn't really taken a back seat, but
He's writing the main book. He's writing like 3 of their main titles.
right, but they're not their like biggest titles like it was when he was on Avengers. I guess that's what I mean. Yes, their main crossover. Invincible Iron Man. What else? What else is he writing?
I mean, Invincible Iron Man, Infamous Iron Man, Spider-Man, Jessica Jones.
Civil War 2.
Civil War 2. That's real.
Yeah, Civil War 2. Yeah, I'll give you that. Civil
are
War
all
2.
big titles.
That like their main arc because they went to him for Secret Invasion Siege after a string of good crossovers, and then they went through a couple of bad ones that didn't pan out. Or not as well received, and so now they're back to him, and I actually like Civil War 2, but, okay, Jessica Jones, which, by the way, wasn't bad, it's just not going to be one of your top 20 Marvel books, although, I don't know, they're all such...
It's
There's a bomb.
top 5 Marvel books for
Jessica
us?
Jones?
For us, yeah. Number
for
one did really
you.
well.
Okay. Yeah, well, you probably have somebody coming up and buying all your Howard the Ducks. Charlie's not paying attention. Okay, so Invincible Iron Man, Jessica Jones, and what else? Not Civil War 2.
Infamous Iron Man, Spider-Man.
Oh, I forgot about
Those are all big books. And Jessica Jones launched pretty well, considering.
Okay, I just didn't know that Jessica Jones had the impact.
Wait, isn't he also writing Guardians?
And Guardians, yeah, that's for sure. You're right.
Yeah, even though he's supposed to be ending his Guardians
Yeah.
run.
Okay, well, Egg Timer notwithstanding,
Wait, is he? Is he not writing it when it comes back? Or when
As far as I know, he's wrapping up his run.
Oh, I thought he was doing the Marvel Now stuff. Maybe not.
anyway, in either capacity, that's my sarcastic one because he really hasn't. I am actually thankful for Jason Aaron, who is continuing his excellent. Yeah, it's driving me crazy. Like you know that I have ADD.
Hear
This is
what?
like
Oh, good.
you're the worst.
I can't hear anything.
Oh God, you are the
You
worst.
want me to stop it?
Toby's
I don't know what you're
filming
doing, but
something
it's
or doing
as
something.
if I had trouble. Like
All right, I'll take it over.
Toby's trying to like film something or do something here.
I told you before the podcast I'm doing a time lapse test on 2 things, and I told you right in your face, but you obviously don't listen to me at all.
I was not paying attention.
Yeah.
Could you have gotten a louder model? How far does this stretch?
What is it? I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
I hear your beer. What?
It's
Like
a kitchen clock that goes click clock, click clock, click clock.
It's an egg timer.
I can't hear it. I can't hear it in the recording.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so I'm actually thankful for Jason Aaron. He's been doing great stuff. I'm also thankful for Tom King. although that bastard went to DC. But I'm really thankful for his Vision run. But I am my one answer is Jason Aaron. Good job, Toby.
What are we doing?
What are you thankful for this year?
What is wrong with this episode? Why do we have a kitchen clock timer?
Take your over-the-ear
Hold on,
earmuffs
okay.
off.
What am I listening for? Oh, I can't hear that. Actually, that's really funny.
Yeah,
Turn that off. I don't know. Maybe that will pick up on the mic. I can't hear it, but maybe it will pick up. Turn that off. What is it? I don't know.
It's
I'm
driving
grateful for Toby to turn this ticking clock off.
It's driving me crazy. I appreciate all your filming,
ring.
Toby, but I can't even focus. What was I even talking about? Is it my turn?
Oh,
no.
oh, hello.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
Charlie, what are you thankful for? Sarcastic and real.
That was super random. Hello, random guy. Apparently staring us at the window.
Yes.
He
Wanting
just wanted to buy some comics.
phone number.
For those of you on the podcast, there was a gentleman that just walked up and
We're gonna edit like 20 minutes out of this podcast.
he just walked up to the front door and just gazed at us through the glass window.
That's a
and,
lie. That's a lie. I don't edit anything in this podcast. Charlie, what are you grateful for? Let's move the shit show on.
I tried, Charlie. I tried. I segued, and they trampled over it.
I kind of want to make my sarcastic one and my real one all the same one.
Please, God, do. Just go.
Grateful for Jim Zub and Thunderbolts.
No.
Nobody's thankful for Thunderbolts.
No,
Mike Allred.
I'm thankful for everything that is DC Rebirth. And yeah, there's the part of me that's just like, Jeff Johns isn't fucking writing a single book anymore.
See, here's the thing about Rebirth. Jeff Johns' spirit is in all of the books.
I know, and it's great. I love Rebirth, but I miss Jeff Johns.
Yeah, it's true.
So
It's true.
Charlie's
I do
actually
too.
going through John's withdrawal.
We all are. We all are. R.I.P. It's all right.
Well, he's maybe he'll make the movies better.
Oh, I'm counting on that. If Wonder Woman is not fantastic, I'm going to just go ape shit over the fact that like he's not writing comic books, because obviously it's not working the other way either.
Well, he was involved in Wonder Woman, but wasn't like the main.
That's supposed to be the one that we should feel his guiding hand on.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, he
Because didn't he do or help with one version of the script?
Yeah, he was more involved in Wonder Woman. I mean, it won't be till Batman that we really get 100% Johns, because even during Justice League, he was not the guy in charge during the initial section of it. He got that job a little bit into it. So
Either way,
but I got
the movies better get a hell of a lot better if he's not writing comic books.
Yeah.
Amen, sister. Anyway, so that was supposed to be a fun little exercise, but 20 minutes later,
Turned into fucking.
I hate you all and you all hate me, so that's good.
Well, let's talk about a couple of random bits of news here, and then we'll go on to all our great questions. Because, yes, it is towards the end of the year and holidays and crap, and so there's not a lot of big comic news. But one of the things we could talk about is the Inhumans TV show that we talked about last week briefly and made a lot of fun of. More information has come out about that show. It is apparently not going to spin out of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It is going to involve the main cast, and in fact, a big portion of it is going to take place on the moon. So, awesome. I hope. Thank God it's not tied into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because I assume that show was canceled after this season.
Charlie's shaking his head, yes.
Yeah.
It's just got to be.
There's no way.
When the ratings reach the level it's at, if it doesn't get canceled, somebody's...
Yeah, it's very surprising.
Yeah.
So, a little clarification from last week. There wasn't a lot of info when we recorded last week, so good to get a little more info on that. Again, another comic TV show, sure, I'll watch it. I like the Inhumans. I like the real characters. I hope that they can make a good show.
See, I'm coming at it as long as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canceled by then, I can fit another show into my schedule.
Yeah.
I don't want any more fucking TV shows right now.
Yeah, that's real rough. I finally dropped Preacher. I had to do it, so I deleted that a couple weeks ago. I just can't do it. The bad thing about Inhumans TV show existing, though, is that Marvel is pressing forward with even more comics about the Inhumans. Now, at least if you're going to do an Inhumans comic, you start with the biggest, the baddest, the best. And that is
Medusa.
That is Blackagar Boltagon himself, Black Bolt. I love the fact that his name is Blackagar Boltagon. That might be my favorite. I feel like I learned that like this year or last year. I don't think I ever knew that was really his name, and I think it's the most amazing comic fact of all time. It's so great. Blackagar Boltagon. What a great name. Anyway, Crescent Moon Kingdom novelist Saladin Ahmed with art from Christina Ward. Says first-time comic writer coming over from sci-fi and fantasy novels. So I'm curious to see how this works. Marvel's tapped a lot of non-comic people to do their comic work recently with varied success. So Black Bolt's a cool character. I don't know how you do a comic about a character that can't talk, but
it's just going to be his bar. Wherever his bar happens to be at the time.
I hate that whole thing, and I hope they get rid of it.
You hate the Quiet Room?
Yeah, I hate that entire thing.
What's wrong with the Quiet Room?
I hate the fact that he has a bar. That's stupid.
It seems like the pettiest fucking complaint that you could have.
It's just dumb.
Did you hate it when the X-Men went down under in the 80s, mate?
No, that's fine. No,
Did you hate that they were skewing on the Bobby?
Like, when Black Bolt had a bar in Secret Wars, it's because he was like a different character. So, like, sure, whatever, that's fine. But I don't know why it still exists. It makes no sense. But Black Bolt's a cool character. I'll be curious to see what they can do with him. And again, they're focusing on the real Inhumans, so that's cool. Thank God they're doing something with the real characters, because I'm sick of, at least if you're going to do Inhumans, do the real ones, not these 20 fake-ass Inhumans they have running around right now. Man, speaking of which, Bryce, let's get an update from you.
Whew.
I don't think we talked about this last time you were on. At least I don't think we were. Did you read Death of X?
Oh, Death of X.
Number 4 comes out tomorrow.
With
the shocking climax.
I think that it was actually officially retitled as The Death of Bryce.
Leading into IVX, the winter's hottest crossover, with a $7 first issue.
Oh, mama. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of The Death of X. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. So I've only read the first two issues, and before I'd read it, when Brock and Higgins, both trolls, had read it, and they were like, it's really bad. Nothing happens at all. It's actually totally useless. I was like, oh, God, you guys are such haters. But then I read it, the first issue, and I was like, wow, the whole issue went by and just absolutely nothing happened. And that was like incredibly disappointing because I hate it when you guys are right. But anyway, then
keeps you up at night, doesn't it?
Issue 2 was more the same, just in terms of like absolutely nothing happening. And I don't know what I want. Let me think. Like what I want from them. What I wish that it was. I just wish that it was like AVX was so much better in comparison, even though I didn't like the individual battles. Like the premise was so much better. This seems just so forced. Like they're just trying, and I say this a lot, I know, but they're trying to get the Inhumans like shoehorned into the universe, and like having them fight the X-Men is a big deal, but it's just like it just feels so forced. It feels it's disastrous.
Well, I think we all know how this ends, right?
Yeah.
Hell, if you want to be technical, 2 Marvel characters die tomorrow. So, good luck with that, guys. Yeah, I mean, the death of Cyclops...
Wait, how do you know?
Because I looked at all the books that come out tomorrow.
How it's... The whole purpose of the Death of X book is to explain what happened to Cyclops and...
Yeah.
Like,
well, the first 2 issues, which is all I've read, don't even indicate that that's what's coming down the pipe.
No, but Cyclops has been gone, so...
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like if you read Marvel books now, Iron Man is...
Gone, quote unquote.
God, by the way, I heard you say that the last podcast. You're fucking totally wrong about that. Like,
what?
That all happened like before Secret Wars 2 number 2. Like that whole Iron Man being gone.
No,
he's back.
Why do you flip through Civil War?
He's
7.
Fucking, no, he's back. He fought some cyber ninjas in Japan. He came back. He was
No. This is...
He goes away again?
This is the Marvel Now stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the...
I'm fucking...
After Civil War issues that have been coming out.
Yeah, Marvel's had post-Civil War books out for the last month.
Yeah.
Infamous Iron Man #1 and Invincible Iron Man #1 are both post-Civil War 8, and Tony is gone.
Wait a minute.
Quote unquote. And apparently does not survive Civil War.
Well, he's not gone. He's the new Alfred. No, he's the new Tuesday.
Jarvis.
He's the new Jarvis.
He's the new Jarvis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right. He's her. He's
an AI now.
Ironheart's AI. Yeah.
Well, okay, then I guess I gotta read Civil War, but I thought that
Well, we don't know how Civil War ends yet. We're just reading the books after it.
Wait, so the book... Wait, I'm sorry.
So you remember what happened with Civil War, the first
So
one?
So you're talking about a separate disappearance than what happened at the beginning of Civil War with Iron Man, when he was in Japan fighting cyber ninjas.
Yeah. Yeah. He is.
Okay, so he's gone again?
I mean,
It's kind of annoying.
he dies. He dies in Civil War. He
Is
just
what
straight up
they're
dies in Civil War.
strongly indicating.
And Cyclops dies in Death of X. I mean, this is not really a spoiler. This is this is what the stories are.
But before he dies, he apparently pulls a Doc Ock and loads his consciousness into a computer, and he is now
into the Iron Man
an
suit
artificial intelligence for Riri Williams to use for her Iron Heart suit, whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Okay, well, that's frustrating. Okay, so...
All I know is having read Death of X number 4.
You've read number 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
IVX starts next week.
Am I on the list for every single
I'll
issue?
trade. I'll move everyone over.
I can't wait.
So Death of X ends, and they're like, "This was a year ago," and then the last year happened, and now the book continues in this event next week that is the wrap up of this thing, and there's just this year in between. But this Death of X took place a year ago,
Oh,
right?
my God.
It's
I
a rough
can't.
title. It's a rough book.
I think you're breaking him right now.
Who's writing this?
Lemire
And Ansel.
and Charles Soule. Yeah.
I just don't understand what the story is there. The first two, I've only read the first two.
I
The
get
first
the
two issues were
impression
brutal.
that they were told you're writing this book, and they said, "Okay, I guess we're writing this book, and this is what you get."
It's kill Cyclops in the last page of issue 4, and spin your reels for 3.5 issues, because and don't write anything of importance in 3 issues. Like I seriously am trying to I'm trying to figure out what happens. Nothing happens in 3.5 issues of this book.
We watched the Terrigen Mists
Move more
across the world.
and make some more stupid mutant, make some more stupid Inhumans.
Inhumans, and what's her name comes down to transition them in. And meanwhile, all the X-Men are going, "It's killing us, it's killing us." And Cyclops like, "They're coming after us."
It's weird because they're telling us the story in this that they've been telling us for the past year, and they're
Right.
like they're telling it the same story again. It's like we
But
already
they're
know.
trying to. So here's the thing that kills me about the Death of X book. Regardless of the fact that nothing happens, it still tries to set up with some big cliffhanger at the end of each issue. That's not a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I agree with you. The first 2 issues.
No, third didn't even try.
I just like
Yeah, it's rough.
at this point they should have just put out a one shot that just got everything out they needed to.
Yeah, it should
and-
be called The Death of Cyclops, issue 1 of 1, and they just
Yeah.
blow them away in 2 pages, and they're like, now on to IVX.
And have 20 variant covers and sell an ass ton.
Of course.
Yeah, that would have worked perfectly.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. they should have done that.
They wouldn't have had to inflate the numbers.
2 pages.
Oh, you love it. I forgot.
I
about
Before,
love-
we got some
I
great
love
questions here. We're going to get to these questions, but I do have one other thing. Image announced.
That is a publishing company.
It is a publishing company. They're announcing. They announced that next year is going to be the 25th anniversary of Image Comics. And unlike the 20th anniversary, where they or was it 15th, where they tried to get I think it was 20th, where they tried to get all the original creators back to do a comic book, and
Image United.
2 of the 6 issues actually ever shipped, or maybe 3. Was that all that they ever did?
No, I think it was only 2.
Did they only do 2? I can't remember. It was so bad. They decided, hey, let's actually turn to a creator that puts out work on a consistent basis and get him to do something special for Image's 25th anniversary. So, The Walking Dead 163, Invincible 133, which is the first part of the finale of Invincible. It's the first issue of the last 12-issue run.
Oh.
And Outcast 25, which is going to be a big shifting point for Outcast. They are all going to launch, and they are all going to launch for a quarter. So if you've ever wanted to check out Walking Dead, Invincible as it's going out, or Outcast, you now can get these comics for 25 cents when they ship next year.
Is Kirkman just have the most incredible work ethic in the industry?
That dude fucking hustles, man. That dude puts out 3 books a month. Hell, Walking Dead was bi-monthly for a while. Invincible's schedule has been hit or miss here and there.
That suffers, but
you get generally.
Outcast is normally on time.
Walking Dead
is on
always on time. I think Invincible has gone 8 to 10 issues a year, once or twice. Like it's kind of missed a month here and there, but it's very regular. Outcast, as far as I know, hasn't missed a month, and Walking Dead hell went bi-weekly for
2 years ago.
2 years ago? 6 months?
Yeah.
No, 4 months.
It was bi-monthly for almost half a year.
It was like an entire trades worth, so it was 6 extra issues.
Because it's the All Out War Part 1 and Part 2.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So anyway. This is a great time to check out any of these books. It's going to be new story arcs, the start of new story arcs for all these titles, and that's a great way to celebrate Image's 25th anniversary.
One is the final story arc.
Yeah, but it's
so sad to see Invincible go. Invincible's so good.
Invincible.
I need to catch up. I'm really behind.
The new trade hasn't come out yet.
And I don't know if it's just sales reasons that they're ending the book, or if he kind of told his story, but Invincible sales are way down for us. I mean, it's basically subscription only. It's kind of the last people still reading it. I got 20, 30 issues in, and I just didn't.
I've been just getting the trades.
Right. Yeah,
I was doing the hardcovers for a long time, but I haven't read like the last 2 hardcovers. So
yeah. Now I really like the Outcast TV show, and I only read the first couple issues when it came out, so I actually do want to start catching up on that.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah, that's fine. I liked just like the TV show. The TV show is very slow, but I really like it. I like the mood and atmosphere of it. It's pretty cool. So it's very low on the on like the gore and like horror elements. It tends to be more drama just with him and his family. And
is it also on AMC?
Showtime?
Yeah, Showtime.
Oh,
believe Charlie? Showtime? Believe it's Showtime.
I think it's Showtime or Stars.
Stars. It's Stars.
Is it Stars?
Yeah.
It's on my
It's
TiVo.
one of the ones that starts with an S.
It's on my TiVo. That's all I know. It's on my TiVo.
Speaking of premium cable channels, how good is Westworld? Oh, that's for a different podcast.
I cannot confirm nor deny anything, but I'm hoping we're going to do a Geekbox Westworld finale wrap up with a special guest that hasn't been on the podcast in a very long time.
Well, you haven't invited me yet, so you have nothing to let me know.
Maybe Westworld's so fucking good.
Okay, so what were we just talking about? How great Marvel was?
I got all sorts of questions.
Unlikely.
I'm sure some of these come up and ask about Marvel.
Let's do questions.
I'm going to ask a couple of these questions.
Wait, what was I just going to say in response to all that stuff you're talking about? Oh,
Image's 25th anniversary?
Jason Aaron, is he doing anything for Image other than Southern Bastards?
Southern Bastards, Goddamned.
I don't even
which
know what Goddamned is.
comes out every 6 months.
Yeah, like the issue 5 comes out.
Just came out, yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
we just
been-
Well, the reason I was asking is because with regards to incredible work ethic for Image, I mean, fucking Remender, is he still like on tilt as he always has been?
Have you been getting 7 to Eternity?
Yeah, he's doing that. I mean, Remender's doing like 5 or 6 books like all at once.
7
it
to
seems.
Eternity, I haven't even heard of it.
It's the new one,
Remender in
Opeña?
Opeña?
Yeah,
It's good.
Jerome Opeña.
Dude, I would love to be on that. No, but I was on Deadly Class, Black Science.
So,
there's a
spoiler
fourth
alert!
one, I think.
Spoiler alert for our end of year best of list. But man, I have read like no indie comics this year at all. I've been so bad. That said, I've started to catch up on a few via trade paperback, which is always my intended method. And Black Science, really good book.
Yeah.
Really good book. I feel like if I read that book as single issues, I would not read it. I actually did. I read the first like 2 issues and went, "This is trash," and nothing, and I threw it away. And I never went back.
Really?
To it. Nothing happens. But within the context of an entire trade paperback, a ton happens. But issue to issue, it's so slow burn. Like so little happens.
I
within
totally
a given
disagree
issue.
with that. I thought that.
Well, especially the way it starts, it's really confusing because you really don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't remember the first 2 issues, but
Right, and I got to the end of the first issue when I was reading the trade, and I was like, wow, if I had read this when I read this in single issue format, this is why I didn't like it, because you have no clue what's happening by the end of the first issue. But by the end of the first trade, you're like, oh, I'm so invested in these characters in this plot. That's why
And they have a nice hardcover.
that's why I like trades for my indie stuff.
fair enough. What was the name of that thing you're talking about?
7 to Eternity.
7 to Eternity.
You'll have to get a second print of number 1.
He doesn't care. Yeah.
It's good.
I believe it.
So we got a ton of questions here. Let's get some of these, and then we'll go.
Question time.
It's from Brandon. He says, anyone know of a list of the DC in continuity graphic novels like Earth 2 or Hikatea? That's the Wonder Woman Batman one by Greg Rucka. So I don't know specifically of a list, but you can probably go to the DC Wikia. I'm sure they have a list there. They have lists of everything. But you can pretty much tell those Earth 2... I'm sorry, those graphic novels, because if Batman is like a pirate or some shit, then it's not...
Are you talking Elseworld stuff?
It's not a continuity, because in the 90s and 2000s, they released a ton of DC graphic
Elseworld
novels.
stuff?
Tons.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
cool. I have tons of them, but they released just buckets of
There's
them.
like those Batman and the Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah.
There's
No, I'm
like-
not even. No, he's not talking those. No, we're talking graphic novels. So we're talking the hardcover or like not prestige format. We're talking like the full on trade paperbacks or the graphic novels. And there was like one a month. It felt like tons of Justice League, tons of Batmans. I mean, they reissued stuff like Red Rain. They reissued those in collected format later. But there's a ton of them. But Earth 2, absolutely one of the best. That's the Grant Morrison.
Just check what Ray Palmer's doing in Countdown.
What?
Because he hops from...
No, he
the Search
does.
for-
He doesn't want those.
Oh,
He
okay.
wants the actual in continuity ones.
No, I know, but I'm saying like the Search for Ray Palmer, that miniseries that was going along with
That's
Countdown,
over all the Elseworlds.
But that hops around a lot for some of those plays because the Red Rain
that's
one is in there.
that's not what he's asking. He wants in continuity
I know.
graphic novels.
Avoid the ones that are in there.
Oh, avoid those.
Yeah,
Yes,
avoid
yes.
those.
No. But the ones you absolutely want to read: Earth 2, Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely, Justice League versus the
Quietly.
Quietly.
God damn.
Quitely.
Yeah.
Versus the Justice League versus the Injustice League. You want to read the JLA, JSA, Virtue and Vice, Jeff Johns, and Carlos Pacheco art, I believe, especially around Thanksgiving. That's a great Thanksgiving comic to read because it's their big annual team up. Those are some of the best ones. I love those two. Those are great. Of course, you all knew those were great because it's Jeff Johns and Grant Morrison.
Yep.
So, of course, they're the ones I'm going to recommend.
Charlie's going through withdrawals now. Can we not touch on that? It's a touchy subject.
Ooh, there's a question for you, Charlie. We were talking about JSA omnibuses earlier. Is Virtue and Vice in that JSA omnibus? It must be.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
If I recall, it is.
Oh, it's so good. And
Now you make me want to go home and check, though.
and you actually talk about the prestige format ones like Brock's talking about. If you do get to read Justice League versus Wildcats, that actually is in continuity. Despite it's a team up with Wildcats, that actually is in continuity with Justice
That one's
League.
hard to find.
I mean, we get it. Pretty regularly. Brandon also says, I think DC will ever get back to the series like Adventure Comics or DC Presents where smaller characters can star. Yeah, they do it all the time. They just had Legends of Tomorrow, which was a 6-issue prestige format.
That was fun.
That
The
had-
Legends of Tomorrow that had Sugar and
Spike.
Metalman,
Metamorpho and Firestar.
and-
Or Firestorm.
Firestorm.
Yeah, so they do these pretty regularly. Marvel's had, Marvel.
I thought it was a really good way to do it, like clumping up 4, and it was I think $6.99.
$9.99.
It was $9.99?
It's but it's 4 comics. It's $250 a series.
Yeah,
so it's
but
a,
I mean,
it's a good price
I
point.
really enjoyed it, and it's a way to kind of get introduced to different characters. So
Yeah, they always do these anthologies. Marvel's done them pretty regularly through the years, although they don't have anything now. They did a... Let's see, what was the last one Marvel did? Did that... Didn't they do a... Oh, man, I'm blanking on the name of it now. I could see the picture in the top of... I could see the picture in my head of the first issue, but I'm blanking on what it was called.
it's not Marvel Comics Presents.
No, but they did an anthology a little while ago, too. But anthologies are tough. They didn't really sell that well. People don't like anthologies.
Fools.
Here's one for Bryce.
Well,
Oh, thank God.
some anthologies take off, but the problem is as soon as you change to the next story, you lose a lot of the audience.
This is for Bryce. This is from Samurai Godzilla. What a great visual, just visual that is. Godzilla
Visualization.
as a samurai. He says, do you think Bendis will ever bring back Teen Tony Stark from the past?
God.
Where's Toby? That's his brown coat Avengers bullshit. Where's Toby? Teen Iron Man from the just pre-Heroes
Samurai
Reborn?
Godzilla has way better questions. Why don't you move along? The answer is, of course, obviously. No. Actually, I take.
He's going to join the Champions, actually, right after
Exactly.
Gwenpool.
I take that half back. It won't be Bendis that brings them back, Samurai Godzilla. It'll be who loves kids, Mark Waid or Jason Aaron.
I 100% guarantee Teen Iron Man will join the Champions by the end of this year. Or by the end of 2017.
100%
That's just going to be their answer. well, if we kill the character, we just have to go kidnap them from the past, and then they can
Yeah,
be in
exactly.
the
Yeah, they've
comics
already done
again.
it once.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to reboot the entire Marvel universe.
Oh,
They're just going to
God.
kill them
Oh, no.
one at a
No,
time
no,
and bring
no.
their younger self.
Dude, they're
No,
on their way.
Charlie.
They've done it with Spider-Man and all the X-Men.
Oh, Jesus. No, Charlie, no.
Chris says, I like Marvel. I don't have a question. Just wanted to say that. Well, good. I like Marvel too.
My man, that's what I'm talking about.
No snarky after comment?
I approve of his opinion, and he's probably very handsome.
Samurai Godzilla also says, man, he does have a bunch of questions there. He says, fill in the blank, Civil War II is the weakest Marvel event since... Blank, blank,
Jesus
blank.
Christ. The first Civil War?
So I don't actually hate Civil War II. Here's my problem with it, though. It takes place over the course of, like, a day. And when you have a book come out over the course of, like, 9 months, it really drags. The last couple issues have all taken place in, like, an hour. Like a very short amount of time. And I feel like the pace... I mean, this is normally not a Bendis problem, but the pacing feels very off on this book. I wish it had almost... God, I almost wish it had been just like a graphic novel or something. It feels like it needs to be read that way because so very little happens issue to issue past the first couple.
I think it would have been fine if it was like a weekly book for 2 months or
Sure.
something like that. It's
Sure.
just with the delays, and this is a constant problem with comic books with big events and the delays, is we're already seeing a lot of the aftermath before the event's done.
The follow-up book, so there's a 9th issue, quote-unquote, not by Bendis. It's been delayed to the end of January. I don't know if that means if Civil War 8's slipping past its last week of December ship date, but if it slips into January, that is just nearly unprecedented. It's awful.
So you're going to cut your numbers?
Well, no, I mean, it's still our best-selling Marvel comic, like, by double the closest one. It's still a very good-selling book. It's not where it was with issue 1, but...
So I guess this is something I don't think we've talked about, but do you feel the fact that the Aftermath books are coming out early are affecting the sales you would see on Aftermath books?
Oh, wait, you're talking about, like, the Iron Man and Infamous and all that?
That kind of stuff.
No, I think it's selling as much as it would. Like,
All of us Marvel Zombies are idiots. We don't notice that continuity wise it takes place afterwards.
Yeah.
But to answer his question, Civil War II is actually good/decent/good. There have been way worse ones in the not too distant past, which I answered you, Senor Godzilla Samurai, on Twitter.
Samurai Godzilla, thank you.
I was doing the inverse, like
okay.
Higgins Ryan.
He was doing a Starfire.
So Fear Itself was much worse. Original Sin was much worse. No,
actually
let me
like
half take that
Original
back.
Sin.
Hold on. Let me
More
half
so than
backpedal.
Civil
Let me
War.
half backpedal. I like this more than Original Sin.
Siege.
Siege was terrible.
Siege and Fear Itself are the only two that spring to mind that I just could not stand.
I also didn't like Age of Ultron.
Talk about somebody going
Well,
to the
let me
past.
rephrase. I liked Age of Ultron, but not as much as this. I think this has been stronger than Age of Ultron. Is all that I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So the worst Marvel event since like fill in the blank. Like, I mean, one of the more recent ones. Like
The
this
worst Marvel event since the last one.
this is like a middle of the road Marvel event. This is
I'd agree.
you know.
I'd agree.
All right, move on. Another question. Let's get them. Let's get some more.
This is from Krusty Lemon. Man, great name today.
Krusty
He says, now
Lemon?
that Senator Kelly, that jerk, and Lex Luthor are in office. Is Lex Luthor in office? I think he
No.
means like old President Les.
Yeah.
Should we have a Marvel DC crossover with Senator Kelly and Lex Luthor? Look, I would love another Marvel and DC crossover. I don't care who they do it with. It's not going to happen anytime soon or ever at this point. But man, I do miss Marvel and DC crossovers. They're so much fun.
Yeah. That was sort of my answer on Twitter, which is, yeah, obviously they need to have this crossover.
Yeah.
I mean, let's establish that Senator Kelly would fucking whoop on Lex Luthor because he'd just have a bunch of Sentinels come and kill Lex Luthor.
Luthor would just power armor up.
No, your power armor ain't saving you from shit. We have some anti-power armor Sentinels. Have you read any X-Men books? They have anti-anything that you can think of Sentinels. Remember when, like, they had fucking, like, Sentinels that weren't made of metal? Because of
Yeah,
Magneto, and it
Magneto,
was
yeah.
like, oh, those enormous robots. There's no metal in there. That's all.
How
What
does
is?
that work?
All plastic, baby.
I mean, what even is that? No, ceramic, obviously.
Spoiler, Steve Dillon died.
Yeah, they have those everywhere.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Different pictures. It's very nice. Anyway,
DC's is better.
Really?
DC's is better.
yeah, that's what he tells
Why do you smile so much? about
DC's
that
tribute is
statement?
better.
He's just remembering that's what he
two-page
tells
spread.
himself to get himself hard. That's too far. What's next?
No, I'm trying to find that DC Steve Dillon tribute. So let's get serious here. This is from Cisco.
Oh yeah, very serious.
He says, over the course of your 10 years owning the store, have you ever seriously thought poor product might put you under? If so, what were those occasions? This is not a current State of the Marvel troll, I swear.
Yeah, right, Cisco.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. What happens with the industry is there's always a ebb and flow, and it gets really scary when that low point drops lower. Because the question is,
Aren't you year over year better for the past decade?
this year will probably break even with last year. It's good, but you have to also consider raising higher costs, more titles with less specific profit per title. The goal is to have 100 books that sell 100 copies each, not 1,000 books that sell 10 copies each. It's when you lose sales on those little books, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts, more so than tanking one thing. One book just failing miserably. And that's the problem with comics. I think when Marvel and DC are doing good, people look down the row with the other stuff that's out. When Marvel or DC are doing bad, people don't come in for those books, so they don't come in for anything. Young Animal can succeed because of Rebirth, but no one's picking up the B and C-list Marvel titles because no one's coming in for Amazing Spider-Man and Wolverine and Thor and X-Men. And
you don't. The thing is they're not coming in for those books. So, but even the books that they're dropping or they're no longer on, that money's not moving to something else. They are just.
Well, they just stop. Right, they just stop. They just stop. When it comes to the independent books, we're as low as I've ever been sales wise on independent books right now. There's we sell a lot, but we're not selling past our subscription base. We're not selling past our regular customers. Walking Dead does good, Saga does good, but those numbers are stable to
They've come down a little
minor attrition. Snot Girl launched really big. Paper Girls is really
Snot
big.
Girl?
Brian Lee O'Malley. I mean, he's got a huge fan base.
Killer Be Killed has done good.
Yeah, all the Brubaker stuff is normal.
Black Monday Murders.
But we don't have, we don't have,
Well, you're not selling 50 copies of each of these. You're selling.
and it's all Image.
Yeah.
It's Dark Horse is low, Valiant's low. So yeah, I mean, it's not just Marvel doing bad. It's Marvel doing bad affects everything. Rebirth is doing really well, but it can't make up for 70% or 60% of the audience going away. All right. So this isn't I'm going out of business talk. This is, absolutely. This up and down of the industry is very frightening.
It's frightening because the thing is we've been watching it on the for the shelves for the past few months. Is that those Marvel numbers are going down and down and down, and there's less and less on the shelf.
Well, I think the Marvel numbers have bottomed out at probably about as low as they're going to get. The Rebirth numbers are falling, which is normal. We expected. When you go to last year, what happened last year was DC was at the bottom of the barrel with DCU, and the end of the New 52 book sold so poorly. And Marvel was just crushing it with Secret Wars, the lead up to Marvel Now, Star Wars. Our Marvel sales. So it's the reverse. You take Marvel and DC and flip them. It wasn't good last year when DC was in the gutters, and it's not good this year when Marvel is. So, I would like them both to be really good at the same time. It doesn't happen too often.
So, but can they be?
Sure, I don't see why. Why not?
The thing is,
Well, I can suggest a reason why not. There's only so much disposable income in your.
Sure, but what's happened now is the Marvel guys are just straight up gone. They're not coming in, period. The amount of Marvel-only guys that we've seen just never come back is huge right now. And the DC books come and go, but Marvel's had always a more loyal fan base. Even though we've traditionally sold more DC, Marvel has a very, very loyal fan base. And so those people aren't coming in because Batman's good. They're not coming in because Wolverine doesn't exist. So they don't know that Batman's good, right? This happens often. We knew Rebirth numbers were going to start coming down, and they have. every month it drops a bit, and those numbers are, again, they're leveling out to a degree, but they are obviously way down from the first few months. And if Marvel starts to pick up with the relaunch of X-Men, hopefully that is very successful and post-IVX, and my hope is that things kind of stabilize into next year, because this last few months have been very big drops in the comic industry.
So I guess my follow-up question to that would be, a lot of times when you kind of see these drops, they can promote something that will get people back in, like the return of Wolverine or what.
You got to keep them, though, right?
Yeah. But I guess my curiosity is, what do you feel they could do to sort of generate that interest again? Like, is there a character you feel like they really need to bring this character back and make a big deal? Is there a...
All of their characters, right? I mean, that's the problem. I think they've gone so far off from their core concept. You know, this America Chavez book launches soon, next month, 2 months, 3 months, I don't remember. And they're making a big deal of it. Again, like they should. However, this book's not going to sell great. It'll sell... You know, it'll go down to 20 or 30,000 copies by issue 2 or 3. It'll be down sub 20,000 copies by issue 6, and there it'll sit forever until it dies at issue 18. I mean, this is just the way these books go. It's very rare that these books catch on. You know, again, you have more customers in getting your big titles. They'll look at these other titles. You know, the reason you're low end on Marvel for a story, you should be like, 25 copies of any comic, because you have 100 that are always buying Spider-Man. And sure, 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 will probably just check out whatever else is on the shelf. This goes for DC too. Had they launched Mother Panic when during DCU, it would have died within one issue. They launch it during Rebirth, and I sell more copies of that than every single Marvel comic on the shelf, with the exception of Civil War. It's crazy, right? But that's what happens when you launch during...
Of Mother Panic?
Yeah, I sold
what
a lot.
The fuck is even Mother Panic?
It's one of the Young Animal books spinning out of... I mean, it takes place in Gotham.
Dude, that's crazy. Good for them. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, nationally it won't have those numbers, and it won't have those legs, but...
Right, but still...
A lot of people checked out that first issue. So...
Because they were in the store buying the stuff that
right, you're looking at the DC shelf, and you've got all your Rebirth titles in your hand, and you look at the one shelf below it, and you've got all these other titles there. You're like, oh, cool, right? You're not even looking at the Marvel shelf.
It's sort of ignorant to say, but I never really thought about that. But I can totally see what you're saying about how you come in to buy your Wolverine, your Spider-Man, your Batman, but then you check out other things that you would never normally buy. And you're right with coming from a sales background, like 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 is all it takes to buy this fucking random book over here that...
I would sell more copies of Squirrel Girl and Fool Killer if Spider-Man and X-Men were good. I mean, just straight up.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, I mean, they're shooting themselves in the foot by doing this. So.
Because the thing is I mean, this industry, we come back to the characters we love, the stories we love, the creators we love, and the thing is but we still want more. So we're curious about something else. So when you come in and you're getting your Spider-Man, your Thor, your Avengers, that's the actual Avengers, you're more apt to pick up, like you say, Squirrel Girl or Fool Killer or Squadron Supreme and be like...
Which apparently just got self-canceled.
Self-canceled?
Stealth-canceled.
What did?
Squadron Supreme. Marvel loves doing that. They love not telling us when books are canceled.
Wait. Canceled by issue 18 or 24?
January 14, so 15 maybe? 15 or 16? I think January is the last issue.
Even though Finding Namor just launched, Finding Namor, the beginning of the story arc just launched, they're going to wrap up Finding Namor, and
there isn't an issue solicited, and people are thinking it's canceled as of February. So.
Stealth canceled. That's
Marvel did that with Mockingbird, because if they say it's canceled, retailers just cut their orders like crazy, so they don't even tell us books are canceled anymore, which is really fucking shady.
Can't really blame them. What I want to know is how Charlie can defend Jim Zub's Thunderbolts.
Charlie may not have to defend it for much longer, because Kurt Busiek is going to be co-writing an upcoming issue as of this solicitation, and writing a backup story with Mark Bagley on art. So going back to old school T-Bolts, although,
Mark Bagley.
Yeah,
but
their Thunderbolts run was so good.
How the mighty have fallen, though.
Yeah,
Mark
Man,
Bagley
Thunderbolts.
can't draw a belly button, killing me.
But man, that original Thunderbolts is some of my favorite comics.
Yeah, that was when Mark Bagley was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I admit I'm very behind on Thunderbolts right now, so
God,
I'm not.
What are you
I can't-
even caught up on? You sound like Toby. Like everything that we've talked about, you're behind on.
So I am behind on very few Rebirth titles.
Yeah, well,
I am.
thanks, Ryan Higgins.
I am very. I am caught up on everything they're doing in Spider-Man.
Which one?
Or
Or
mainly
both?
the Amazing and the Miles Morales.
Okay, so
I'm
both.
I'm not. Some of the other, like whatever it's called. There's other Spider-Man books I'm not reading.
I just
like
meant
the
Spider-Man
Renew
or
of Valor.
Amazing. I just
Yeah.
meant the two main ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm caught up on both of those. I'm caught up on Thor. I'm caught up on Ultimates. I'm mostly caught up on Civil War, other than the one that comes out this week.
Well, yeah.
I'm caught up on Cage. Yes, I know. I love saying one issue. I'm caught up.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
You have issue 2's out tomorrow.
Caught up on Doctor Strange. Caught up on Guardians. Caught up on the two
Okay.
Iron Man titles.
This is the worst radio ever. Can you?
You're the one that's like, what are you caught up on?
No, I mean, I didn't mean for you to do a Ryan Higgins
Another question.
list.
Here's a question for you, Bryce. This is one that you may want to pick up.
I might
first.
give it to Charlie to read
Well,
out the list.
we can all have some answers for this. This is from Marco. He says, "What's your writer and artist pick for X-Men Gold and X-Men Blue?
Okay, great.
Who do you want?"
Great question. So, Marco, I've been giving it a little thought, not as much as I meant to, but I've been giving it a little thought. Can I cop out and say I want Jeff Johns to do both? Because here's my thing. I will give a
Okay, Ryan Higgins.
no, that would be Grant Morrison.
Grant
asshole.
Morrison on the other one. Yeah.
No, fuck you. He'd be like, "Oh, Frank Quitely, do you want to come and do X-Men Blue?
Oh, God.
Because Wolverine
be the greatest.
can't handle himself without some more collagen. We need to get more collagen on Wolverine.
Be the greatest comic ever.
Oh, Jubilee, you need some more collagen yourself, lass." He just draws these like pustulated humans, Frank Quitely. He's the worst. Anyway, so no, fuck Grant Morrison. Jeff Johns. So anyway, I will give answers for like separate writers because I think that that's a more realistic fantasy answer. But I do think that like when Jonathan Hickman was doing both Avengers books and back when Bendis was in his prime doing both Avengers books, like I think that one writer on both books, because writers can handle more books than artists can, right? So I think that that enables better storytelling because it's almost like having a bi-monthly book. Bi-weekly book. So anyway, I would put Johns on it. Although nowadays I'm not sure if I would. My second place answer would be to put Jason Aaron on both of them. But that also might not be a realistic answer because he's doing his good stuff everywhere else in the universe. And if we take him off of his other titles, I'm not sure what other legs Marvel has to stand on. Beyond that, I used to have a lot of faith in Lemire and Sewell, but not anymore. Would love to give Rucka,
He's just going to say everything, and then nobody's going to be able to say anything.
Okay, so I would put Rucka on Team Blue because he's very well suited for Team Blue. Other than that,
Blue being the classic 5 X-Men.
Pardon me?
Blue being the classic 5 X-Men.
No. Blue was like the sexy like the.
No, but isn't Blue in the new one the main? the main 5?
I'm going back to the 90s. I
No,
forget what Blue is going to be.
No, the new one.
Blue is going to be the classics.
I thought so. Let me look.
They're going to dust off Chris Claremont's decrepit ass, and they're going to get him out, and he's going to write some lengthy ass prose and do the Blue team.
Now.
The old nose.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, Gold. Yeah. Blue's classic. Blue's the original 5. Gold is for the new books at least, and Gold is the all new X-Men.
Okay, I know that we talked about this, but I do forget what the team compositions were. I'm just going based on what blue and gold used to be. I want like an old school person on gold and like a younger, fresher person on blue, based on how it was in the 90s.
Well, blue is classic. 5 gold is.
Do you have the rosters?
I do. I mean, we don't know for sure.
Can you give me the approximate rosters?
Gold is Wolverine, Colossus, Rogue, Storm, Nightcrawler, Wolverine. Oh, I said Wolverine, and what's her face? Kitty Pryde and Phoenix. And blue is Cyclops, Iceman, Beast, Angel, and Jean Grey.
Okay, so I want Al Ewing on blue because Al Ewing does a fucking mean old person team book. He's been doing great. It's Al Ewing, right, with Ultimates? He's been doing great with Ultimates, and so I want him on like the classic, older, matured people. With the blue team, yeah, you know, I don't know I'm Nick Spencer. Maybe has he done the team book? Nick Spencer? I can't think of one.
Superior Foes.
Oh, I mean, but that's like a farcical. I mean, I don't want a farcical. I don't want a Deadpool to fucking. The X-Men have enough problems right now.
Brock.
So I think Peter Tomasi should come in and write the classic team.
No.
Why?
Keep him in DC. He's
No,
writing
you
Super
said
Sons.
Anybody.
Now, realistic.
Okay, so
Peter Tomasi would be amazing.
no, Peter Tomasi, and then for artist, they should bring in Nicola Scott for art on the blue team. And then I think actually Jeff Lemire has been writing Extraordinary X-Men very well, so him just continuing over to gold would be perfectly fine. But I think that they need to bring in another artist, you know, preferably somebody like Epting or like whoever's drawn Civil War and stuff, like a main artist.
Yeah. Because Humberto Ramos was on Extraordinary, and then they had a bunch of like
fill in.
Ramos wannabes, and it was not the right book for him.
Yeah, who's on Wonder Woman?
I thought that Extraordinary started so strong,
James
and
Sharp?
I'm not liking
Sharp would be
it
good
right
for
now. I want maybe Colin Bunn would be another good person. I'm trying to think of who
Charlie.
Marvel has.
I know. I don't want Bun, though, just because Bun would scare me on either of those titles.
Why?
Because too many titles Bun's been on, and sometimes this works really, really well, but other times I'm just like, I don't need Supernatural in this book.
But dude, he's fucking. I mean, you don't like his current Uncanny X-Men? That's like one of the best X books out there. Which, actually, no, I was gonna say isn't saying much, but like Old Man Logan and Uncanny X-Men have both been good.
Oh, Old Man Logan is amazing. I love Old Man Logan. His run on X-Men has been fine so far. I have this sort of track record with him that every single book that he kind of touches, eventually he kind of doesn't fuck up, but he starts bringing in the supernatural. Like he just has this.
Yeah, it gets a little weird.
Has he done this on X-Men? I'm like maybe
Not yet.
one issue
Not
behind.
yet.
Not yet, but we're getting
I'm
there,
just
man.
I'm just talking about that. There's a track record. There's a pattern here that I've noticed.
Magic is in Extraordinary. It's only a matter of time before she crosses over.
So, any event, that's why for me,
We'll have Inferno,
I
By the way, that would be awesome if we had Inferno too.
if he can show me that he can do it
No,
in a book without doing that,
No.
I would be fine. And
I will always listen to your
as I
argument,
said,
and this time your argument is invalid.
This is me.
Okay, Charlie.
I have my answer. If you want to hear my answer.
Nope, nobody wants to hear it. So Dan Slott, maybe. Just kidding. Let's hear it.
Well, if I was going to do slot, it would be on the gold team, just because new versus. I kind of want somebody old school on the old team. Like I want Peter David. I think I want Peter David on the.
Oh, how did I forget about Peter David? I think that it was because of his X Factor run.
Yeah.
Not in a negative way. Like I liked it so much that I sort of like.
Yeah.
Anyway, Peter
that's
David
why-
would be great.
David
but Dan
on
Slott,
blue.
No, but you're maybe forgetting. Yeah, blue is the old guys.
Yeah.
I'd want Slott or David on the old guys.
Yeah.
No, they're young because we went to the past.
So blue.
Wait, the blue team is the old people, but the old characters, but it's the young versions.
We don't know.
Jesus Christ, Marvel.
On blue,
Okay.
the original
What is
5
considered
members.
classic, I want David on. What's considered new and hipster,
Colin Bunn.
Sure, why not?
On blue, which
Jim
is the
Zub.
original 5 adult members, including the return of Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Wolverine. I'm sorry, not Wolverine. Jean Grey and Cyclops. I want.
Wait, you just said the words "the return of Jean Grey."
Right. This is the book that I want. I want blue to be the original 5 members, including
Oh.
the return of Cyclops and Jean Grey.
Oh,
And it is Jason Aaron and John Cassaday on that book. And then the gold book, which is the return of Wolverine, and Colossus is normal and not a member of fucking...
no, this is
He's not
bullshit.
one of the horsemen.
not one of the horsemen.
No.
And Nightcrawler is not a whatever he is this week.
Swordsman.
I want just the regular, all-new X-Men with Kitty Pryde
No.
and Phoenix.
No, you're talking about Marvel Rebirth now. That's different.
And I want Kieran Gillen and Salvador LaRocca on that book. There you go.
God, that'd be so good.
Unfortunately, this means the creative teams between Star Wars and Darth Vader are no longer doing their titles, but that's perfectly fine
Oh,
with me
fuck,
because
Star Wars. They
because
have sabotaged like half the creative talent of Marvel.
because I realized that those creative teams would be perfect for the X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold. Just the way they write those titles, classic versus sort of the darker, more edgy, younger version. I want those guys on those books.
So I have a question that I'll tweet you if you're not going to answer me right now. When are these Star Wars books going to go away so that we can get the creative team back on the actual?
Never.
comics?
They're like they're best. They're like some of
That's
Marvel's
what I'm
best-selling
saying.
comics.
Is
Yeah.
that they are probably
Yeah.
way better selling, and so like their top 30% of like quote unquote best creative talent is always going to be dedicated to Star Wars.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of money, and so like the rest is all in the rest of the books. Like, what the fuck, Star Wars?
So I have
That does say something, the fact that they've not had Bendis write a single Star Wars book yet.
God.
So I've had about 75
fucking
more
God.
tweets, and apparently they're all just Bryce and other people liking stuff. So let's end this podcast.
No
I'm sure
other
Bryce.
questions?
Sure, Bryce will have
In
a
an
random-
hour.
a random thing to talk
Mitch
about.
didn't even put in a question.
He didn't. But let's end on.
Bastard.
Let's end literally on the great last question. If you were on a sinking ship and could only save 2 of the podcast crew, who would you save? Brock, Toby, Bryce, or Charlie? Man, what a fucking question for this Thanksgiving. All right, guys, thanks. All right, good episode. I'm glad you could all be here.
I'm ready. I got
I'd
my
save myself and you guys could all burn. Drown, technically.
No,
It'd be very
you'd only
difficult
say
for us
2 other people.
to burn, sir.
You and 2 other people. That's it. Two of them will have to die.
See, Bryce, I think
I
could
want to
take...
see Bryce and Ryan in all eternity on an island by themselves.
See, Bryce is the athletic one of us. I think he could take care of himself. So I'm
I
not
will
going to save
save-
you. I think you'd be all right.
I will say
whoa.
Bryce and Ryan, and I'll jump off the ship.
Wait, hold on.
I'm just
Does
too
the-
busy going, Bryce and Ryan would make an excellent odd couple.
Wait a minute.
I have the perfect answer to the question. Toby, Charlie, and myself save each other. You 2 are the ones that get out.
People
and then we're done.
misunderstand that me and Bryce are actually pretty good friends. It's just on the podcast, the claws come out.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Wait, so
This is a hard question because I try and save all you guys.
in this case, like you say, you only get to save 2 of us. So, but the others could still survive, or the others have to die.
I don't know. But if it was a sinking ship...
I'm gonna go with you would die.
How close is the island? Because I can swim like a motherfucker.
See, I think Bryce could save himself, so I think Bryce would be okay. Toby, I kind of get the feeling, would try to build some elaborate contraption to save himself and to save everyone on the ship. So by default, I'll probably have to save Brock and Charlie. But I feel like Toby would just be like, no, I got this idea. I'm going to build this. I'm going to put this...
And you
go
just
over
go.
here
And if he makes it, he makes it. We got to go.
And then it's the 4 of us, sans Toby on the island.
Wouldn't it have been great if Toby's invention had worked?
I don't know why. Just
Toby-
hey,
Does
it
Toby
might
realize he can just swim over here?
I've got a plan. Oh, what a horrible question.
That is
Yeah.
pretty brutal.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I got nothing. We'd all die. Virtual suicide. We'd all die on the way down. So there you go. I'm the captain. I have to get down with the ship. So
I wouldn't. I would be fucking out of there. I would swim to the island by myself.
I don't think there's an island.
could we have a podcast with Bryce on it that's just over an hour and not 2? Ah, that's credible. It's only been an hour and some change.
Wait, was that a
That's
a
the last question. That's the last question.
That's the last question he's going to
What the
do.
fuck? What
There's
kind of-
plenty more plenty more questions.
I
He's just avoiding
certainly
them.
hope / expect that person is not a Patreon. By the way, you should be patreon.com/comicsconspiracy. That they want less content rather than more.
I don't know. We have some sick listeners. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I would just like Indicator to know that I had another one of his beers tonight because I didn't finish them years ago because Higgins is a beer. What's the word?
Monger?
Limiter?
Make sure that I don't have too much because I
good.
get saucy and then I argue.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can drive home, too. Don't want that. Bad things. Cops out. It's on the road. It's Thanksgiving.
Anyway,
That's all we got.
I'm thankful that Higgins has crawled out of his cave and is back on social media.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so terrible. Hey, Ed Brubaker quit Twitter. And Dan Slott, too.
Wait, Dan Slott quit?
Yeah.
And
God, you guys are so thin-skinned.
Damn social media.
It's like... yeah.
It's terrible if you just sit on it all day like I do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
No, see,
Yeah.
this is the thing. When he wasn't on, he got like two long
like,
boxes
stuff
of
done.
fucking product out. Like back
You see, I could tell when Bryce turns on his phone because I'm like, 28 likes from Bryce all in a row.
Yeah, when you check Twitter twice a day and Facebook once a day...
Responses from Bryce, that's something I tweeted 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. I'm like,
Yeah, but you say that like it's like crazy, like dated. Like for those of us that only check Twitter, fucking like on the train north and on the train
Yeah.
south.
Just so you know, the entire time in between that, he's fighting the urge to check it.
No, what the fuck? I'm fucking working. I'm busy. Like,
Do you not go to the bathroom?
I know that you like to wipe your ass and check your phone at the same time, but maybe
Hey,
not all-
multitasking, man. You got to get stuff done.
anyway,
God, that's so gross.
we have comics this week. So if you go to the Yoka Comic Store, don't forget, there is actually comics this week. No delays. No delays for Christmas or New Year's either. So lots of new comics coming out. We have a lot more to be thankful. We have the big Supergirl Legends Arrow Flash crossover that next week. Can't wait. That's super soon.
Lord's going to have a really, really nice new print,
Oh, is he?
which I don't know nothing about, but it's going to be really, really cool.
Cool.
Surprising nobody. This is like his biggest wet dream ever.
Moana, that comes out this week.
Oh,
Isn't that this week?
Yeah.
stupid shit sold
Rogue
out
One
already.
soon.
Yeah, are we doing
I think
the
that you'll be
thing?
able to get
We'll
a
see.
ticket.
Yeah, by myself.
It's going to be a good couple weeks for nerds. All right, guys.
No more questions?
That's it. Bryce, take us out, man. Why don't you tell us about your favorite Marvel book, starting with the A-Force in the top left corner of the store, and I'll start telling everyone where they can find our other
Start
episodes.
the extra music or whatever it's called. I love your call out that I only get to G.
You do.
No, I know.
It takes like half an hour, and you're
No,
like,
but next, Bryce, briefly, I'm going to start on this
Yeah.
panel of the
Yeah.
wall, and then I'm going
So
to
you're
go
going
through
to
the
skip
second
the
half of
I's
the
and
alphabet.
the I through
no, he went through
N?
that stuff.
Oh,
He
I
through
went
that
through A through M or N last time, and I'll go through the second half next, Bryce, briefly, which I'll do as soon as Higgins says, "Hey, can you do Bryce briefly?" Boom, I'll do it. And he says, "Hey, it's up to the Patreon members." Oh, do we have enough patrons? Oh, you better go to patreon.com/comicsconspiracy and sign up if you want more bonus content. And tell Higgins, oh God, Bryce is such a handsome gentleman. We need to hear more of his ramblings.
Next time, man. Next time
Next
you're
time.
on, we'll
I think
get
we're
you
so
on.
lucky that Bryce hasn't figured out Facebook Live yet.
Oh boy, don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for listening. Hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving or whatever you do. Hopefully you get some time off. We have to thank our good friends from Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, Albert Soy.
incredible.
He's got that app plant everywhere on iTunes. Check that out. Julian Titus says Nerds with Little Pants podcast at pixelbit.com.
No bands.
There it is. Ryan Hess says Preach Podcast at pardon me.
And we're Beard Bros.
SoundCloud.com/Preach Podcast.
I didn't get to talk about Doctor Strange. When do I get to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe next
You
week?
didn't talk about Doctor Strange. Let me do this, and because it'll be a little more spoiler talk. If people want to skip it, we'll put it at the end of the episode. Let's talk about Jody Lawson. She's got Canon, the Triad Comics Anthology at TriadComicStudios.com. We also have our good friends Manoa Place, Sam Che, and Talon Bray. Thank you guys very, very much for all your donations. If you would like to donate, patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy. So where you can go to do that.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, we'll give Bryce his 5 minutes on Doctor Strange here after this. Well, let's tell you where to go to find this podcast, which is conspiracypodcast.com, geekbox.net, and iTunes. Rate and review us, please, on iTunes. Thank you very much. The Comic Conspiracy at geekbox.net. Send us those emails there. That contact form at geekbox.net as well comes to me. I can read it. Digital.comics, Lots of big digital sales. I just had a big 99-cent sale on Watchmen. There's a bunch of stuff up now. Black Friday, huge sales from Black Friday, so check that out really soon. When you buy stuff through there, we get a nice cut. So if you want to support this podcast and get comics at the same time, digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. Conspirator Brock, that's Brock's blog and video pull list.
Which I should have the Gotham City Garage Harley up soon.
Unboxing for all you millennials in your YouTube.
Can you explain this to me? What the fuck is unboxing? Are you just taking it out of the box and filming yourself?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
People like it.
A bunch of babies watch it.
Whoa, shots fired.
No, they do.
They do.
It's
Like-
little babies that watch it.
Like my kids watch unboxing videos of those like mystery mini things. They eat that shit up. Then you don't have to go to the store and do it because they've already watched people open them.
Or does that fuel the need to get
No,
those
they
things?
don't ask.
That's crazy. This world. Am I old? What happened?
Yes.
Yes, you're
No, it is the kids who are wrong. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. That's Charlie's podcast. Hey, Charlie. How was that animated Doctor Who thing? Did it suck?
Oh, this just in. Charlie loved it.
Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That's my wonderful wife, Leanne. That's her Etsy store. You can go on there and buy some artwork from her. Do you want to talk briefly about that Doctor Who? Do you like it? Animated Doctor Who movie?
So previously they have animated a bunch of like when they were a 4-part story and they're missing 2 episodes, they've done some animation to fill in the missing episodes. This is the first time they've done an animation for an entirely missing story, all 6 parts.
They only had the audio.
Yeah, they only had the audio.
Oh, this is like to fill in the past?
Yeah.
Oh, how
It
cool.
was Troughton's first appearance?
Yes.
The second Doctor's first episode.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So this is the first time they're doing an entire story, and you can tell that they've stepped up their game a little bit. Like the animation's a little cleaner than the previous one, so
It's still pretty limited animation, but it's...
Is it like
just
those
a little
old
bit better.
Marvel cartoons from the 60s?
That's
No.
like
A couple steps up from that.
a broad
okay.
comment. What is that?
Well, no, I'm serious.
But
Why would they
I
do
think-
60s animation? What does that
no,
even
do you
mean?
remember? It's like, yeah,
No,
they
everybody
move-
remembers.
All right, fuck you too.
what I'm kind of curious about is so they played it in theaters and I wasn't able to go because I was working. So I've only watched the first episode, but I know after they're done airing the quote unquote animated black and white, they're going to do the DVD release. And then at least in the UK, they put out a color version on Blu-ray after the DVD release.
Huh.
So
Okay, that's weird.
I'm curious to see what the actual releases look like here. And
So they're
whether-
doing DLCs?
Kinda, I guess.
I'm on Twitter. Ryan Higgins Ryan. Yeah, I'm on stupid Twitter again. We'll see how long, though. Brock is Brock Sager. Larson Bryce. That's Bryce Larson. Toby's Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. Geekbox Comedy Button. Good Job Brain. All Talk Podcast. There's a podcast you should listen to. You should also listen to the most recent episode of Manga Machinations with Darfox, Dakazu, Seamus, and Toby Sidler
Yes.
What?
on the most recent episode of Manga Machinations.
Yes.
What?
I pulled a Bryce and took up entire half the podcast all about me.
I don't know what that sounds like, but let me tell you something. Just kidding.
Yeah. They wanted my secret orange, and I gave them my entire secret anime and manga history. I think I overcompensated for growing up Asian and short. And then they talked about Phoenix, which I didn't read, as I do not read stuff here on the Comic Conspiracy. I didn't read it on their podcast either, so nothing is new. But yeah, if you want to hear my entire history for no good reason, go listen to the last episode of Manga Machination. Thanks for having me on. That'll probably be my last time too at this point.
Dude, is that Carrion on Amazing Spider-Man 21?
Jesus, I don't know. You should also listen to Off Panel number 71. Off Panel is an absolute brilliant podcast.
Oh,
Sketch
Charlie, you're
dot-
next. They said
sketch.com.
you've been tagged. They say you've been tagged. You're going to get contacted by the aliens, and you're going to be on Manga
Toby, you were
Machinations.
interrupting Higgins plugging his Marvel trolling podcast.
Sketch.com, which I was on with David Harper, so definitely check that out. And now, Bryce, we all talked about Doctor Strange last week. And yeah, sorry, we actually meant to talk about this earlier in the podcast, but I guess spoilers, so it works at the end of the podcast too. Why don't you take 5 minutes to tell us about Doctor Strange?
5 minutes.
Because you seem pretty upset that we thought it was pretty mediocre.
What? Why do you get that impression? What did I say that?
It's a post on Facebook.
What did I post on Facebook?
I don't know. You were making. You were.
I didn't think it was a mediocre movie. I just wanted more.
I don't think that I posted a single thing about Doctor Strange on Facebook. Did I?
You posted a general Marvel thing.
Yeah. Well.
Well, anyway, what do you think of Doctor Strange?
So I'm 50-50 agreeing with you guys and hating you guys. I agree with you in a lot of aspects that you'll be like, yeah, that's exactly fucking right, Bryce. In that it was, I wildly disagree with you about the score. You gave it about a 7.5 out of 10. I would give it much more, although what number I'm not really settled on. I thought it was a fucking phenomenal movie. I think that the casting was extremely well done. I do agree and will grant you that Marvel is got a formula. And that they are, I wouldn't call it playing it safe, although I'm not far away from that. I will say that you guys seem to be looking at these movies from we're 15 movies into the Marvel universe, 12 movies in, whatever it is, movies into the Marvel universe, therefore our reaction is X. And my interpretation of the movie is, if we didn't have any of the other movies, my reaction is Y. And, fair play to both of us, because we have had all those other movies. So we have had like a dozen other generic villains, or not a dozen, but you know what I mean. So anyway, I love the movie. I would give it an A. I absolutely loved it. The way that he fought Dormammu, or I guess you could say that, at the end was or dealt with Dormammu, I should say, was, I think, second to none. I really thought that was refreshing, not having a knockdown, drag him out fight. Between the casting, the way he dealt with Dormammu, I guess the whole story line up until then, I would definitely give it. Actually, I would probably give it an A-. But my only complaint, so I loved the movie. If we got this movie early on in the Marvel Universe, everybody'd be creaming their pants. The fact that we get it like now, I understand that it's more of the same. I might agree with the word formulaic, but I would still say greatness. Formulaic greatness is not a thing that is necessarily bad. I think that let's see, Easter eggs, not cookies. Easter eggs in the movie were great. Mads Mikkelsen, Mads, what's his name?
I think it's like Moss, but I always say Mads.
Generic.
I have no idea.
Generic villain X.
Yeah, he was pretty. He was. I love the actor, but villain wise, he was just sort of.
He was. I found him most similar to the Doctor from Thor 2, in terms of like, yeah, he's a very powerful, badass, practically alien villain. Don't get me wrong. I loved the movie. It was very good. I defy all the, I wanted something trippier that you guys are saying. I sort of would rather them stick with the formula and give me a very solid Doctor Strange movie than try to do something fucking crazy and fucking barn it. I do think that they've tried to go outside the box with Guardians and Winter Soldier, and those were successful. And so I think that when they feel that they can comfortably go outside the box, then they do, and they have been successful, and maybe they didn't think that they could comfortably do it, or reach out to fans and get them in an acceptable way. I don't know what the story is there, but let's see here. I certainly understand your critiques about how it's, more of the same, quote-unquote greatness or quote-unquote goodness, depending on where you sit in all this. But yeah, I thought that the story was really good. My only complaint about the movie, my only real complaint, because I'm not really complaining about the formulaicness, was he seemed, and I get it, that he has a photographic memory and that he just would fucking read as his astral form while he was sleeping to rest, so he just learned very quickly. It seemed like he went from 0 to Master of the Mystical Arts in like 20 or 30 minutes.
He wasn't Sorcerer Supreme at the end of the movie, and that actually kind of surprised me. I thought he was going to take that mantle, but he doesn't. So he's definitely very good by the end. But that's typical.
It was very quickly he went from absolutely not being able to do anything to saving himself in the Himalayas, which is okay. That's a very fair movie thing. Like, we'll strand him somewhere and he has to survive. That's fine. But he goes from like 0 in that scene to being able to like all of a sudden conjure a portal to like doing a whole bunch of other shit to all of a sudden
beating Dormammu in the first movie is kind of like the first Green Lantern movie where he fights Parallax, and you're like,
no. So this is where I disagree with that. So he defeated Parallax in the first Green Lantern movie, and even though I like that movie more than most people, not including you, I loved especially how he didn't beat Dormammu in this. I was going to be really when I saw it going towards Dormammu at the end, I was like, are you fucking kidding? This surgeon is going to beat Dormammu in one movie? Like, are you fucking kidding me? But then he doesn't. He like finds a workaround, and it's using his brain. And
True.
That's like it's so relieving to me that I was like, okay, because if he'd beat Dormammu in the first movie, I would have been like, fuck this pile of shit. But he didn't. He like found a workaround and was like, look, I cannot beat you, but I can find out something that like, you know, you haven't thought of or been able to deal with. And so Dormammu, like it perfectly sets up like, you know, Dormammu can come back later, and maybe then Doctor Strange is, you know, more powerful. Hopefully. Anyway, that said, my only nitpick was the middle of the movie where he like goes from not understanding the mystical arts at all to being incredibly good in a short amount of time.
You had a montage. That's how you get good at stuff. You have a montage.
I do love montages.
Gonna have a montage.
I wanted that montage set to the Wonder Woman music. Anyway, loved the movie. If this was the first of the Marvel movies, we'd all be fucking exploding in our pants, and it's not, and so people are disappointed that they didn't get more, and I think that's an unfair criticism. However, I acknowledge that
I think it's just fans bitching, critics seem to like it, and it made really good money. So,
well, I was thinking more about my whole love of Rotten Tomatoes, and I still stand by it. But I do acknowledge that, like, if every critic finds a movie to be 61% out of 100, that movie will have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's just the way that aggregators work. And so if all people reviewing this movie liked it, even if they wouldn't give it 100, as long as they liked it more than they didn't like it, then it gets 100%. Now, it was somewhere around 90 when it launched. I don't know where it is now, but yeah, I mean, it was a movie, and they certainly have that formula of making a non-offensive movie that isn't crazy. But I stand by also the argument that, like, when they are comfortable taking a risk with you know, I think Ant-Man, but definitely Winter Soldier and Guardians, that they do take those risks, and they've both paid off two, 3 times, depending on how you want to count it. That they've taken the risks and they've paid off, and for some reason they didn't want to go too crazy here. I don't know if that's because Doctor Strange has a bigger part to play later on down the line, or if that's because they said that there's nothing to gain by going batshit magical crazy. I love Tilda Swinton, by the way, as the Ancient One. I think that the whole, like, she's not Asian, what the fuck rumors were, like, totally overblown. What else?
No, she did a good job.
She did a good job. I like how much magic they did. I
like the effects. I mean, the effects in the movie are really cool. And I heard the 3D version was really good.
I saw it once in 3D and once in non-3D, and frankly...
the same.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't give a fuck. It was...
I just don't like 3D. So.
Right. It was great in either capacity. It didn't change my life to see it in 3D. It was very good, but just like any extra layer is...
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's my... I'm sure that was more than 5 minutes, but not much more. It was good. It was good.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Bryce. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a while before we have another comic movie, but we got Rogue One.
What is the next one? Rogue One, kind of, but Logan, is that the next one? March?
Yeah, Logan must be the next one. Yeah. Logan soon. Real soon, actually.
What's the next Marvel Cinematic or DC Cinematic?
Thor, Wonder Woman...
Thor's like a year from now.
Well, Thor, Wonder Woman, Guardians, and Justice League are next year.
No, there must be a Marvel Universe
Spider-Man?
spring movie.
Yeah, Guardians is May.
Okay.
Yeah, Guardians is the next one.
Okay, got it. And Wonder Woman is when?
June?
Okay, and then what's that other studio? Sony. Spider-Man. When is he coming out?
I think Spider-Man's next year. I had the list. I was looking at it last week, I think, but I can't remember. I'll figure it out when we get to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Have a good Thanksgiving. We'll catch everyone next week.